With this Flamenco Guitar Lessons for Beginners video, we'll take that first step in learning flamenco rhythm guitar by showing you how to play an easy 12-bar bass line. Along with guitar tabs and practice rhythm tracks, we'll cover it all with the step-by-step approach. For most beginners, taking that first step in learning rhythm guitar can initially be a big challenge. And the reason why is that you need to focus on three things generally, all at the same time, when you're providing the rhythm. Number one, you need to focus on how to strum chords or strumming patterns. Number two, you need to focus on changing chords or chord transitions. And then finally, you need to keep a steady tempo while focusing on the other two. So rather than worrying about all three of those for your first initial rhythm lesson, my approach is to show you a simple single note bass line where you're following another rhythm guitarist. So the objective with this lesson is to get you acclimated to following chord changes and keeping a steady tempo. But also you'll be hearing the actual strumming patterns and rhythms we'll be doing in the very next lesson. And you can do this lesson on any guitar. I happen to have a classical nylon string guitar. But regardless of what guitar you're using, I'm going to suggest you use a guitar pick. If you don't use a pick, you will get a blister on your thumb right away. Typical flamenco strumming, there is no pick, and we won't use one in the future, but for this single note bass line lesson, a pick will help you avoid getting a blister on your thumb. We're going to go about learning this 12-bar progression one note and then one bar at a time. So starting with the very first note with your fretting hand, for most of us right-handed players, that's the left hand, you're going to place your first finger on the bottom string, the 6th string, 5th fret, and that will be our first note. Now we should also sync up with the tab example that you see on the screen there. A quick review of reading guitar tab. The 6 horizontal lines represent the 6 strings on the guitar, with the number 1 line, the top line, representing the 1st string, and the bottom line representing the 6th bottom string. The numbers on the line represent the frets to be played. So we're on that 5th fret on the 6th string. Now for beginners, I also include the finger numbers to fret with on my tab. So underneath that 5, you'll see the number 1. That's indicating you're going to fret that note with the 1 finger. With that, we'll go to the next note, and if you're looking at the tab, you'll see it's the same note twice. So fairly easy there, but what you want to do after you play those first 2 notes, don't over-exaggerate it, but we sort of mute the string a little bit. We sort of stop the sustain, like so. And then we go to the next string. You'll see the 4th pinky finger here. That's going to extend up 3 frets to the 5th string, 8th fret. Now if you're a beginner, you're going to feel that stretch in the fingers, and that's another reason why we're doing this particular bass line. It's a great exercise for beginners to help improve the strength and flexibility, and you do that by reaching like that. Now again, if you're a beginner, it's going to be tough. You can lift your first finger in order to get that pinky finger close to the fret. If you're not close to the fret, you're going to get some partial muting or buzzing. So be right next to that fret. That's the objective with that 4th pinky finger. So the first 3 notes. And then it's a 4-note bass line. So the last note we play, we just drop down from that pinky finger, 3rd finger on that 5th string, 7th fret, 8, 7 on the 5th string. And then we're going to stop or partially mute that as well. So let's put together bar 1. It's a 4-note bass line or riff. Now, to name this bass line, it helps to identify the letter name or the key of the riff. And the letter name of this riff will be based on the very first note we played. So that's where understanding the chromatic scale will come in handy. We'll do a quick review of the chromatic scale now. We count up the bottom string, which is E, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So this riff is in technically A minor. We're using the A minor scale. For right now, we could just say we're in A for this opening riff because of that first note. And let's play that bar again. Now, the good news is in this 12-bar progression, we're going to begin it by playing the A bass line or the A bar 4 consecutive times. So 4 bars of A begin the 12-bar progression. And as we repeat things, I have to give another tip here. With this hand, we've covered, but the strumming hand, and what you want to do is you want to rest the strumming hand. And how you do that is by using the third and the pinky finger just below the sound hole. Some of you may have pick guards, but if you rest your third and fourth fingers down, we don't want your hand floating. And by resting it, it keeps the strumming hand steady and in position. If it's floating while you play, it's just going to get worse. You're going to start getting farther and farther away from the string. Also, your wrist will get tired too. But by resting these 2 fingers, then it's more of sort of a tapping motion with the thumb, just kind of tapping down on the string. So what we're going to do in the next clip, we'll do a slow walkthrough of bars 1 through 4, but we'll also be playing along with the backing rhythm guitar. So that way you get a sense of hearing how the bass line sounds with the rhythm. In addition, there will be a guide bass line that I'll provide as well. So you'll actually hear the bass line played along with the rhythm guitar. That's a great way to warm up. We're going to rehearse 4 bars, again, bars 1 through 4 in A, and we'll go through it 2 times. For bar 5, we're going to shift everything over a string. Technically, we're going up a string to a higher sounding string, the 5th string, 5th fret. And we're going to play the same bass line, just everything is shifted over. The name of this bass line, the letter name, again, that'll be based on the first note we play. So using the chromatic scale on the 5th string, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So this bass line riff is in D, and we play D for 2 bars in this progression. That'll be bars 5 and 6. Here's how it'll sound. And then we will shift back down to A for bars 7 and 8. So let's put those 2 together, bars 5 and 6 D, bars 7 and 8 A. 1, 2, ready, go. And with that, we're going to now put that all together with the first section, bars 1 through 4. In the next clip, we'll start it from bar 1 and play straight on through bar 8. Quick review of that, it'll be A 4 times, D 2 times, then back to A 2 times. And we'll review bars 1 through 8 in the next clip 2 consecutive times. best way to set up for bar 9 is to review bar 8, the last bar we just played in A. The reason being is that last note with the third finger, we're now going to place our first finger there. So we sort of pivot the fretting hand, and we're going to play the same riff we played in D. It's just 2 frets higher on that 5th string, and then the 4th. And the name of this riff, well, the previous riff was D, D, D sharp, E. So bar 9 will be in E, and it'll just be E played once. It's only going to be played for one bar, bar 9. And then we shift down to D for bar 10. So putting those two together. Then for bar 11, down to A. Just one bar there. So we're switching around a lot quicker than we did for the beginning of this progression. It's one bar of each, bars 9 through 11, E, D, and A. And let's run through that. 1, 2, ready, go. Thinking one more time just to make sure. 1, 2, ready, go. And that sets us up for bar 12. In bar 12, there's a variation. It's called a turnaround. We're going to abandon this bass riff that we've been repeating. Instead, we're going to stay on that note. That last note we played, again, that's an E note. And we're going to play this note 7 times, all down strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. What a turnaround does, it's played at the end of a verse. And in this case, each verse in this progression we're working on is a 12-bar progression. So on bar 12, we're going to play that turnaround. It sort of revs up, creates a little drama or tension to lead into the next verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now you could do an 8 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you have to get back really quick to A to repeat the verse. So what I would suggest is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Then there's a blank count that gives you time to get back when we start repeating things. So let's connect the turnaround to the previous 3 bars. So now we're going to put together bars 9 through 12. Here's how it'll sound. 1, 2, ready, go. And we'll do that one more time. 1, 2, ready, go. And what we'll do in the next clip, we'll review bars 9 and 12, this time with the backing rhythm. And we'll go through bars 9 through 12 2 times. The next step is to put everything together we've learned so far, bars 1 through 12. That would make up verse 1. And we'll do that with a slow walkthrough in the next clip. For verse 2, bars 1 through 11 will be played exactly the same as they were in verse 1. So the only difference will be what we do on bar 12 of verse 2. Instead of the turnaround that we did in verse 1, we're going to play an ending. We're going to end the progression. And the ending is really basic. We just play the first note of the song, the A note, twice. We let it sustain a bit, and that's going to lock in or harmonize with the backing chords. And a good way to sync up that ending is to back it up to bar 11 of verse 2, where we play the A bass riff. And if we back it up a little bit more, how we resolve things, bars 9, 10, 11, and 12 with the ending. Here's how that'll sound. Everything's the same. And what we'll do in the next clip is we'll fine-tune that ending. We'll go through it twice, but you can hear how it sounds with the backing chords. Next, we'll put everything together now. We're going to combine verses 1 and 2. That's going to be a 24-bar progression. Verse 1 is a 12-bar progression that ends with the turnaround. Verse 2 is a 12-bar progression that ends with the ending. And one thing to work on before we do that, and that is the transition from verse 1 to verse 2. We have the turnaround that ends verse 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then the beginning of verse 2 will be the A bass line. You got to be really quick, even though it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, even though you have a blank count there, to get back to it, you still got to get back there really quick if you want to lock in and keep a steady tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. As fast as you can, try to get back to the A riff that starts verse 2. So with that, the next clip, again, connecting verses 1 and 2 together. Once you have this 12-bar bass line down, the good news is that it is a movable progression. In other words, you can play the same bass line progression, the same 12-bar progression, up or down the fretboard in different keys. And to know the letter name of the key you're playing, all you have to do is know the letter name of the first note we played. So that the previous example was in the key of A, technically A minor because it uses the A minor scale. But if, say, we wanted to play in G, that'll be lower down the fretboard. And again, that's where knowing the chromatic scale will help. Simply start with E and count up until you find the key you want. Because every note, all 12 notes, will be somewhere between the open or 0 fret and the 12th fret. You just start with E and count till you find the key you need. So if we were to do something in G, E, F, F sharp, G. So the exact same pattern. A little bit more stretch of the fingers required for this, but again, that'll be good for you. It helps get the fingers in shape once you can do A. And everything will be the same. And so what we'll do in the next clip, you can practice a 24-bar progression, 2 verses in G. Now by this point you've got a really good foundation on how to play this bass line. So what we'll do in the next clip is we'll have another rhythm track, but there will be no guide bass line played. It'll just be the rhythm guitar. Because right now, again, you're familiar with the bass line. Now you can hear how you sound on your own playing against a backing rhythm. And we're going to do this rhythm in another key as well. This will be in the key of B flat, technically B flat minor, but B flat will be the note we play or base our riff on. This is a good review of enharmonic notes because B flat is the same note as A sharp. A sharp, B flat, it's the same exact note. Again, they're enharmonic notes. One musician may say, let's do something in B flat. Another may say, let's do something in A sharp. They're both saying the same thing. And again, technically we're playing in a minor key, but for this beginner lesson, you don't have to worry about the minor so much as just knowing where B flat is. And if we recall where A was, in our first progression, that was on the 5th fret, moving up, A sharp, also known as B flat. So now you can practice the progression slightly higher than A. And again, we'll do it without a guide track. Bass line rhythm, 12 bars in B flat minor. Once you have this lesson down, the next step is to move up to the next level or lesson with flamenco rhythm basics. And in that next lesson, instead of a bass line, we'll actually start to strum chords in 12-bar progressions.